In this video, we are going to talk about why is wine increasing in alcohol levels. So before starting this video, like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future updates. Wine is a kind of alcoholic beverage that is primarily produced by fermenting grapes. Ever since humans first started staying in one area for long enough for fruit to ferment, there's a good chance that wine has been used as a social lubricant. Even 6,000 years ago, wine was already playing a ceremonial role surrounding death rituals. This is proved by evidence from the Irini I cave in Armenia, which has the oldest vineyard that has been found to date. However, we must be aware of what we are drinking in order to prevent ourselves from entering the danger zone. The World Health Organization classifies alcohol as a known carcinogen. This is in addition to all of the accidents and behavioral issues that we have become accustomed to reading about in the news. The dangers of driving under the influence of alcohol are also well known in today's society. A measure of alcohol's potency called an alcohol unit has been in use in the United Kingdom since 1987, when it was first implemented. And despite the fact that many of us would want to think that wine is a better kind of drink, a large portion of its appeal is due to the alcohol that is contained inside it. In the United Kingdom, 1 unit is equal to 10 milliliters or 8 grams of pure alcohol. However, this is not a worldwide standard. In the United States, 1 unit equals 14 grams of alcohol. In Italy, 1 unit equals 10 grams, and in France, 1 unit equals 12 grams. This idea, which originated in the late 1980s and has persisted to this day, holds that 1 unit is approximately comparable to 1 glass of wine. But back then, as a country, we consumed enormous quantities of Liebfraumilch, Piesporter, and Hock, all of which had around 8 to 9% alcohol. Even red table wine or bog standard claret would have only been approximately 11% alcohol at that time. The ubiquitous cup used in Parisian dining held little more than 125 milliliters of liquid at most. Serving sizes were also significantly reduced. It's a well-known truth that wines taste better when served in larger glasses. Increases in unit size have resulted in today's small glass being equal to 1/4 of a bottle. The situation is significantly different now, since many wines have an alcohol content of 14 to 15%. And some even have a greater percentage. Additionally, there has been an increase in glass sizes, hence, although it is still a legal necessity for establishments to serve 125 milliliters measures if requested, this size is practically never stated, and 175 milliliters is now commonly considered to be the small option. In reality, this represents 1/4 of a bottle, while a large portion of 250 milliliters corresponds to 1/3 of a bottle. According to the website for the NHS, a bottle of wine containing 750 milliliters, with an alcohol content of 13.5% comprises 10 units. A simple calculation reveals that a big glass of wine may easily be 3.5 units and more if the wine is stronger. This implies that a single glass of wine might surpass the current suggested daily maximum for a woman in the United Kingdom, which is between 2 and 3 units per day, while it is probable that the chief medical officer of the United Kingdom is set to propose an even lower limit. Why the increase in alcohol? Here are some reasons of increase of alcohol levels in wine. Number 6. Climate change. The truth of the issue is that as time goes on, wine is becoming stronger. And at the same time, we are drinking more of it out of larger glasses, but why is this happening? One idea suggests that climate change might be a contributing reason. However, despite the fact that this has enormous ramifications for the foreseeable future of the wine business, it does not seem to be the single most important factor in the increase in alcohol levels. Number 5. Changes in taste. According to the findings of a study that was carried out and published by the American Association of Wine Economists in May of 2011, an increase in the alcohol content of wine may be an undesirable byproduct of producer responses to perceived market preferences for wines having riper, more intense flavors. These preferences were derived from consumer perceptions of the market. It's possible that shifting weather patterns have anything to do with this desire. Number 4. Rising sugar levels. researchers found that the average amount of sugar present at harvest in California had increased by 11% between the years 1980 and 2007, which suggests that there was also an increase in the amount of alcohol produced. It is difficult to keep track of matching data on finished wine in California since labeling tolerances in the United States are quite permissive. The United States permits a tolerance of 1.5%. But the European Union requires labels to be within 0.5% of real alcohol in the wine. Number 3. Looking at the evidence. However, this research could benefit from the fact that the province of Ontario in Canada has a state alcohol monopoly known as the LCBO, Liquor Control Board of Ontario. This organization boasts of being the largest buyer of beverage alcohol in the world, and it examines each and every wine that it imports. The investigation spanned a period of 16 years, from 1992 to 2007, and yielded 91,432 usable samples of dry wines. In addition, the researchers examined trends of changing climate across a variety of wine areas in order to compute a growing season heat index. In every nation, there was a rise in the average amount of alcohol consumed throughout the course of the time, ranging from a mere 0.2% to 2.0%. Number 2. Human factor more important than environmental. A series of regressions were run to evaluate the effects of climate change, which were represented by the heat index. The purpose of these investigations was to see whether this was a contributing reason to the rise in alcohol content. However, they concluded that the increase in alcohol levels was significantly more than what could be explained by changes in climate, indicating that it is predominantly a human-caused phenomenon. Furthermore, the survey revealed that white wines had lower average levels of alcohol than red wines, and that New World countries, including the Americas, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa, had higher average levels of alcohol than Europe. The average quantity of alcohol detected in each glass has grown as a consequence of the tendency among UK consumers toward drinking more wine from New World areas and more red wine. Number 1. The dilemma for winemakers. The challenge for winemakers is that yeast is required to ferment the fruit sugars, creating alcohol as well as wine flavors, in order to transform the dull plain flavors of grape juice into complex wine, and greater sugar always equals higher alcohol. Also, customers and some reviewers seem to favor softer, fruitier, less astringent wines, which necessitate riper fruit. To produce this riper fruit, a lot of work has gone into improved viticulture, lower yields, canopy management, and practices like leaf plucking to maximize sun exposure, harvest selection, and so on. Sugar accumulates via photosynthesis, which is accelerated by high temperatures and sunshine. However, since varietal flavor and tannin ripening are more strongly related to sunlight hours, many farmers are now experiencing a mismatch, with sugar levels increasing before flavors are completely formed or tannins supple enough for today's preferences. Waiting for flavors to develop before selecting might result in extremely high alcohol levels. Drought may exacerbate the situation since vines shut down if there isn't enough water, allowing tannins to remain unripe and astringent while sugar still accumulates due to grape shriveling. Now that we've covered the causes of growing alcohol levels, let's talk about how to stop it. Drinkability and harmony rather than concentration and force are becoming more important to winemakers as consumers seek out wines that are lighter in body and provide a greater sense of refreshment. Although technological solutions have been developed in certain regions of the world, especially but not exclusively the United States, to reduce alcohol levels in finished wine, such as reverse osmosis and spinning cone column. This topic is rarely discussed because it may be perceived as an industrial manipulation of wine. And in fact, it is only allowed within the EU in limited circumstances. In addition, there is research being done to generate yeast strains that are less efficient and hence produce naturally less alcohol throughout the fermentation process. There is a possibility that, over the course of a longer period of time, vineyard practices will change in order to retard the process of ripening and that there will be shifts in the types of grape varieties that are grown in which regions, given that each variety has its own set of climatic preferences. What do you think about this video? Do let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.